you for all coming today. We will be talking about ultra-processed foods, nutrition labels, storage for your foods, and shelf life. We will be doing a little science experiment to show how chemicals react to fats and emulsifiers to show how processed foods behave differently than natural foods. We will also be showing you how to make a natural, whole food, homemade mayonnaise. Processed foods are foods that are mass-produced with some or a lot of industrial processed ingredients like emulsifiers, colorings, flavor enhancers, bulking agents, and gels. Processed foods account for nearly 60% of adult calorie consumption. Among American children, that number is 70%. Wow. Some examples of processed foods are snacks, sodas, frozen pizzas, sweetened cereals, and instant soups. They are usually crammed with saturated fat, salt, and sugar. They have been linked to a variety of health problems, including diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. It's not always about what's added to the food, though. It's also about what's missing in your food. They tend to be lower in fiber, micronutrients, and phytochemicals. They're naturally occurring compounds with potential health benefits. This has been going on since at least the 19th century.
Saccharin.
Okay, saccharin was invented in 1879, and Coca-Cola syrup was invented in 1886. Hydrogenated oils were cheaper than animal fats such as lard or butter, and they had a longer shelf life. So trans fat found their way to everything from hot dogs to mayonnaise to Oreos. A larger boom in highly processed food occurred after World War II. The military needed to transport rations over long distances while increasing shelf life, palatability, and calorie density. Advances made during the war in freeze drying, dehydration, chemical preservatives, and packaging carried over to the food production for growing U.S. population. These advances helped make a variety of foods more affordable and available nationwide. So I'm going to give you some examples of some unprocessed or minimally processed food. Would be like fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, seeds, eggs, meat, poultry, pasta, plain yogurt, and coffee. Those are examples of unprocessed or minimally processed foods. And processed foods, here's some examples. There's salted nuts, cured meat, canned fish, canned vegetables, most cheeses, and even bakery bread. Ultra-processed food, here's some examples of that. Commercially produced breads, most breakfast cereals, flavored yogurts, hot dogs, frozen meals, potato chips, soft drinks, and candy bars. The additives, they can harm your gut health. They are designed to make you want more. The packaging and ads are colorful and they're bright, so it's like drawing you to them. And sugars that are in them are addicting. The Bible doesn't directly mention processed foods, but it offers principles. View all food as God's gift to enjoy with thankfulness. 1 Timothy 4:4-5 and Ecclesiastes 2:24 tells us to use good Christian judgment. And Romans 14:20 says to care for your body as it's the temple of the Holy Spirit. 1 Corinthians 3:16 and 6:19-20 says practice self-control. And Proverbs 23:20 says to avoid gluttony or addiction, which suggests using moderation with unhealthy items while prioritizing overall stewardship and honoring God. Do you want me to do this? No? Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a science experiment right now to show you how, it's basically showing you how the we're gonna use some milk. We're gonna pour it in here, and then I'm gonna show you how chemicals, we're gonna use some Dawn dish soap, and I'm gonna show you how the chemical reacts to the fat and the emulsifiers in the milk. And I'll show you guys up close in a minute too. I'm gonna put some food coloring in the milk, just a few drops near the middle. Okay. So I'm using a chemical that's in Dawn dish soap, and I'm gonna show you guys how this reacts, and I'll show you guys too. Ooh. So I'm gonna come up close and show you guys as well, since I didn't show you that, but I'm gonna show you what happens when we put it on dish soap. It already kind of separated it. See that? It's basically showing you how chemicals react to your body. They have a reaction. Instead of like the whole natural foods, they don't have that same reaction. They will react with the fats and the emulsifier. Okay, so you can, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Go ahead and read, 'cause I know.
Okay, so I wanted to show some examples of some cheat sheets that you can find online. And so when you are buying, you know, the healthier foods, there's a certain way to store them in order to keep them fresh longer, which also preserves the nutrients in each food. Okay, so for apples, they're supposed to be in the refrigerator, and they can last 3 to 4 weeks for that. And this is just a cheat sheet that you can find. I'll just go through some of the normal everyday fruits and veggies that everybody has usually. Bananas, if you store them at room temperature, they last 2 to 5 days. In the refrigerator, 5 to 7 days. Also, you can get, you can wrap the top of the banana bunch, and that keeps it fresh longer. So if you want to do like a like a basil or maybe a cilantro, something like that, you trim it and you put it in a glass of water in your refrigerator, and that's supposed to last 7 to 10 days. So carrots can last 3 to 4 weeks if you refrigerate them. And then cucumbers, they last a week in the fridge. A lot of these you want to put them in the crisper drawer, but I know
I'll say one real quick that I know. The avocados, if you put them in water, they last longer in the fridge.
they do.
And I'm not sure what the date is for just the fridge, but they will last for a long time, weeks in the fridge.
It does. Scallions, they can last 7 to 10 days if you refrigerate. Also, green onions, you can regrow them. Just a bit on that. And things like lettuce, Swiss chard, stuff like that, you're gonna store in a container in the fridge. You rinse them, and I personally put a paper towel on them to absorb some of it keeps them crisp longer.
I do want to say a tip too. If you want to store like berries, like blueberries or anything in the fridge, strawberries, if you soak them in white distilled vinegar and stuff, you'll also get any type of mold from showing up, you won't get that, and you can store them to last like 2 weeks in the fridge without getting that mold or anything on them if you use white distilled vinegar.
Also, store them in glass jars. That it
Yes,
works.
airtight glass jars
What about like
is for the best.
Best Buy or like
Oh,
those?
on that.
Yep.
I also have another cheat sheet about the Best Buy, sell by, and use by dates. So Best Buy, it's just when it's the best quality. It doesn't mean that it's actually bad. The sell by is just when the store has to sell it. It's not. It doesn't mean. Again, it doesn't mean it's actually expired. And the use by is when the quality of it starts to decline. But if it says like an expiration date, like specifically an expiration date, that's when on the product that's when it absolutely expires and you can't use it after that. And there's just some examples on here of different things like deli meat, prepared meat, like stuff, meats you're gonna put in the fridge. It usually becomes unsafe after somewhere between 4 and 12 months, but if you freeze them, you can do that and then it'll extend the product longer. When it comes to like pantry staples, personally I've learned that when you store them in an airtight glass container, they're gonna last a lot longer. So I personally stock up and I store them in airtight containers and they last, you know, well, I have a little bit bigger family, so it's only months for us, but it can last longer than that.
You guys will be getting both these sheets in your packet too, so we're not reading off all of them, but you'll be getting a lot of information with
a
your
big
packet
packet.
today.
Okay, so my topic is on food labels. Food labels is it's found on products, like whether it's box goods, baked goods, or just things that you get from a grocery store. And the label consists of nutrient facts, like has calories, serving size, fats, cholesterol, sodium, carbs, protein, vitamins, and the ingredients. The ingredients on a label is arranged items by the weight, the bulk of the product. First 3 ingredients, if you recognize it, fruits or veggies, then that's more like the healthier option. But still look at the whole list as a whole, because there's gonna be a lot of ingredients that you will see, especially with ultra processed foods. Rule of thumb is try to stick to 10 ingredients or less when you're buying food. Obviously do the best you can with what you have, with what you can get. A lot of the ingredients on a label has scientific names. So you, and a lot of it, I still don't know a lot of them, so I have to research because I don't understand, but you can find it and it tells you what it is and it tells you what's used for. So what you want to watch out when you're looking at labels, watch out for hydrogenated oils such as high fructose corn syrup, MSG, BHA, BHT, carrageenan. So these are the common ones that you'll see. Polysorbate 80, propylene glycol, food dyes such as red dye 40, yellow 5, sodium benzoate, and artificial sweeteners. Like I said, try to go at least amount of ingredients if you can. Usually what I do is I buy like the staple items like fruits, veggies, meats, flour, rice, and then I usually build up with that. So I make my meals. I make bread, I make baked goods, because that way I can control what I put in my food. And that's a much better option, obviously. So the one thing I will say, you can't get away from processed foods. Like that's just something that's ingrained in our society. but you can make small changes to make a huge difference the long way. So it's just doing the best you can with what you have, and knowing when you pick up that box or whatever, the ingredients, you have an idea, okay, what am I looking for, you know? And so that way you're like, okay, is it the best option? You know, obviously each person is gonna be in a different situation. It's just do what you can with what you got. The US standard for ingredients is different than other countries. A lot of ingredients that are used in the US is banned in a lot of countries. There is approximately 10,000 chemicals used in food production, processing, and packaging. They're classified as safe under GRAS rule, not run by the FDA. Additives and preservatives are used to make the food last longer on the shelves, more tasty, or maintain texture. Even healthy food options can be misleading, and you must read the label carefully. The impact of eating foods that are not from the source with all the additives, preservatives is alarming. So this is kind of going a little bit into like the health problems, what it can cause, as in if you're eating it all the time, okay? Not like, you know, once a week or whatever, but it's like constantly that's what you eat. 30% of cancer cases, 35% of cardiovascular deaths due to poor food choices, 25% of diabetes related to deaths. Between 1950 and 2000, estimated 7.25 million deaths occurred in the US were contributed to diet-related factors. Effects of having numerous chemicals in our diets can lead to mild allergic reactions or to severe long-term health consequences, such as cancer, hormone disruption, and metabolic disorders. They can have chronic health issues, behavioral issues in children with food dyes. There's a list of examples of harmful chemicals. Aspartame, which can cause cancer, neurological disorders. Monosodium yes, thank you. MSG, for short. Headaches, allergic reactions, neurological damage, artificial food dyes, hyperactivity, behavioral issues, and cancer. I'll just say BHA. That's a carcinogenic. It has effects, endocrine disruption. Another one, BHT, which is cancer, liver, and kidney damage. Phosphoric acid causes osteoporosis and kidney damage. Sucralose. What?
White sugar, right?
Yeah, phosphoric acid, just so you know, is found in sugar. The sugar's washed in phosphoric acid.
The like white sugar.
The white sugar.
How they get it white.
Not the organic or the king. If you see white sugar, like table sugar, that is literally washed in phosphoric acid and who knows what else. That's one of the ingredients I did find. So, yeah. Sucralose, Splenda. It can mess with your gut microbiome disruption, potential carcinogenic, titanium dioxide, cancer, DNA damage, high fructose corn syrup, obesity, and metabolic disorders. Nitrates and nitrites found in processed meats, carcinogenic compounds, long-term eating. This causes GI cancer, colorectal cancer. There's another thing that I'll mention, heavy metals is found in processed foods, and it can cause cognitive development issues, lower IQ, and behavioral issues. The heavy metals like lead, arsenic, I think there's different types, but that's one of the things I saw. And so, you know, in regards of the ingredients, you can replace it with, you know, for example, aspartame, you can use stevia, monk fruit, BHT, rosemary extract, potassium bromate, ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, MSG, you can use sea salt for flavoring, or mushrooms, and high fructose corn syrup, honey, and maple syrup. Phosphate additives, use apple cider vinegar, and hydrogenated oils, use coconut oil and olive oil. Last one, phosphoric acid, use lemon juice, citric acid, which is found in nature. So that is that part, and then I will go talk about, a couple things. Okay, so there is another thing, that, the US has their own list of ingredients, which is a lot longer. And, I did print off where it shows you like US versus, I think it's British, the UK. Theirs is shorter, and it's more natural ingredients. So, I'll just, I don't know if they can see it, but, so there's different lists, it's in the packet. So one of them was like ingredients for Kraft mac and cheese, the US version, and there's one that's cheesy pasta, the UK version. And then there's Frosted Flakes, US version, and then Frosties, which is the British.
So you're basically saying that in the other countries, they use more whole
Yes.
foods than we do here in America.
Well, I guess I'll just read off, like, the frosted, for example, the Frosted Flakes. The US has milk, corn, sugar, malt flavor, salt, BHT, vitamins and minerals. There's a longer, even more longer list. Now for the UK, theirs is that mace? Mace, sugar, barley malt, flavoring, salt, vitamins, and minerals. And it lists the minerals, so that's pretty much very condensed and to the point.
Yeah.
So,
What I have found though is Aldi, their brand, is closer to, what other countries allow versus what America allows. But it has to be their brand. Like the Aldi brand. It's got a lot less ingredients in it. Obviously not everything, but a lot of it.
And next week, we're gonna be touching more on the whole foods and natural foods, and we're gonna tell you where the best places to shop to buy your foods, how to do it on a, like, more on a budget and different things. We're gonna touch on a lot of things next week too that kind of play along with today.
so the other thing that I noticed with labels, there's a lot to the labels that you will see when you pick up different things. One of them is like organic and non-GMO, and there is a difference with it. So the USD organic, the food must contain 95 to 100% certified organic ingredients. The other 5%, like salt and water, cannot contain GMOs. That is genetically modified organism. Thank you. It requires 100% organic feed for organic livestock. Use of chemical fertilizers, synthetic substances, irradiation, sewage sludge, or GMOs is prohibited. It also prohibits antibiotic and synthetic hormone use in organic meat and poultry, and verification is maintained. Now for non-GMO, it requires ongoing testing of all at-risk ingredients. It requires an action threshold below 0.9% GMO content, and strict practices are followed after testing to ensure ingredient integrity. And then verification is maintained. It also ensures traceability and segregation practice in place for GMO avoidance. And I'm sure you have some tidbit about this. Like,
So, not everything you purchase has to be organic. Because what I will say is certain things, you have to read the labels. Because certain things that are organic still have other things that you may not want in there, depending on your preferences. Like it still has certain different seed oils, certain sugars and things that just because it says organic does not mean that it's healthy. And especially if you're trying to eat healthier on a budget, you know, you have to look at, I believe she has some lists of what's called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 is if you're gonna wanna, if you're on a budget, you're gonna wanna purchase like those fruits and vegetables versus doing everything organic.
so the list on the Dirty Dozen, this is the, explain what the Dirty Dozen means.
The Dirty Dozen is things that are really high in different pesticides.
Okay, So, basically the Dirty Dozen, apples, strawberries, grapes, celery, peaches, spinach, sweet bell, peppers, imported nectarines, cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, imported sap peas. I don't know what that
Snap
is.
peas, yeah.
Snap peas, and potatoes. So those just basically just
For my, personally, generally, if I'm gonna eat the peel of something, I'm gonna buy that organic as much as possible. But if it's gonna have like thick peel or something, then I don't. But like apples, strawberries, blueberries, different things like that, I generally buy that. Did you have a question?
I wanted to, add another thing that why it might be in this Dirty Dozen is when the fruit or vegetable is picked from the garden that it's grown in, it is not ripe, and it is sprayed with a chemical to ripen it,
Yeah.
so,
Plus the pesticides.
yes.
is that the peel?
No, in order to keep it, fresh longer, they spray it with chemicals. So that's part of.
So
running the
isn't
Dirty
there
Dozen.
something where you can soak the fruits and vegetables like in a vinegar, baking soda,
Baking
something?
soda, yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
baking soda?
Yeah.
So that you can do
Clean
to
the pesticides.
clean, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it'll get it all off, so.
Yeah, but at least you can do something about it, just a little bit, just to help out. Alright, so the Clean 15, that is the lowest in pesticides, and it's okay to buy conventional. And those are avocados, sweet corn, pineapples, cabbage, frozen sweet peas, onions, asparagus, mangoes, papaya, kiwi, eggplant, grapefruit, cantaloupe, cauliflower, and sweet potatoes. So,
I do wanna say something, when you buy apples from the supermarket, you'll notice that they have a waxy coating on them. And so you do wanna look for an apple that doesn't look so shiny and appetizing, more of the organic, but didn't you tell me a way that we could get the wax coating off too?
Dish soap.
dish soap?
Okay, maybe
Wash it with dish soap.
was better than us, but.
Dawn dish soap?
You can look at a SKU number
Oh.
on
Which I'm gonna
Yeah.
mention that, about that, the produce, I will mention that, so thank you. So anytime you buy produce, you will see a sticker, okay, so it doesn't matter, bananas, apples, lettuce, whatever, it's gonna have this like barcode, alright, it's gonna have a sticker. And that tells you, what it means. So for a 4-digit code, it starts with a 4 or a 3. This tells you that the produce is grown with chemical pesticides and fertilizer.
So do
It's-
not buy that if
Yes.
it has a 4 or a 3 and it
Yes.
starts with that. That's
So-
another thing with your apples, you'll notice that the waxy ones will have that number. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 or 4. If it starts with 3 or 4, that is highly processed with chemical pesticides and fertilizer. It's the most common standard method for most procedures on produce. Now, for the 5-digit code, there's a 5-digit code. It begins with a 9. This one, the 9 at the beginning means the fruit or vegetable is grown without synthetic pesticides, fertilizers, or GMOs. So that's, I'm guessing the 4 is the GMOs too. So the 4-digit code, 3 or 4, will be GMOs included. Yes.
Can I make a comment?
Uh-huh.
Also, it's not fruit related, but eggs, just because I raise chickens, also, they are also sprayed and coated and chemical
What?
treated. And you have to watch it with your eggs that you buy. So there's the differences in labels and what they say about eggs, and there's a whole reason behind all of that, with like organic and cage free.
And pasture raised.
Yeah.
Which is what.
So, that's why when you buy from like someone like me that just does from their home, backyard gardening, you're gonna see them a little more dirty, cause they're gonna have that protective bloom on them, but that's natural from the head. Versus like at the store, a lot of times they're gonna be washed in a chemical. You have to be careful, you have to actually get that off and wash it before you crack your egg.
That's good. That's good to know. So there's another one, 5-digit code beginning with an 8. The produce is genetically modified. However, most GMOs are now hidden under conventional 4-digit codes. So you have to keep an eye out what your, like that barcode, so that will also help you make a decision, okay, what you're gonna buy. You know, obviously, again, with the stores, with everything that's, you know, brought in, you just make the best decision with what you can at the time. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot be perfect at trying to be
Yeah, none of us
non-GMO
are perfect, trust me.
or like at all, because it's well, I would say it's very difficult. Like, you know, it's just something, just small changes.
Yeah.
And then I do want to touch base a little bit on kosher. Okay, I do not follow kosher. Okay, but you'll notice on the labels that it will have like different symbols, like for example a K or a U with a circle. That just like allows you to understand that if the food is processed under Jewish law,
Yeah,
And prayed over.
like if it's.
And prayed
recipe
over.
and
It's
different things.
yes.
Well.
So you will notice that with certain things like spices, just different things, you'll notice on the label of your product, it will have the U with a circle or U with a D. That means a dairy is present. And so there's another one, it's like a K, I think with a star. That's also kosher. But each one is more specific. One's like, I think the K is for, it's not on this one, but one of them is like kosher and Passover, like it's approved for Passover. So it's very, very specific, and the standards are very high on this. But I don't follow it, but it's just kind of good to know, because then you know that it's at a different standard than normal ultra processed foods. So that's all I have.
Did you wanna go over
Oh yeah,
label real quick?
the mail.
Or this, yeah, what we did there.
Oh yeah, so I do have a couple labels, 3 labels on this paper. Two of them are ultra processed, and so it's gonna tell you the nutrition facts, and then below it all the ingredients. And then same with the one's the mac and cheese, the other one is ramen, and then you have another one that's this one is dates, and this is like one ingredient, and I cannot see it. Oh yeah, it just says dates. So that's all it is. That's all it contains.
So you wanna look for stuff that's more with just.
More specifically the product.
Less ingredients.
Yes.
Is what you're looking for. When you read a label, less ingredients.
Under 10. No, sorry, under 5. Under 5.
And maybe pass that around just so they can see the difference between the labels of what your ultra processed foods are. And today we're gonna be showing you guys how to make a natural food, or a more homemade food than what you would buy as a processed item in the store is mayonnaise. And so we're gonna show you more of a natural way to make it here.
So it's 1 egg, 1 cup of a neutral oil, like avocado oil, a tablespoon of lemon, and 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. I'm gonna put the egg in first.
And we do have some containers that if you guys wanna take some home of the real mayo that we're making, we're gonna get you some.
Right. Just one.
Yeah,
is that-
1.
Okay.
And
And
these
if
are
anybody
farm
wants to
brushes
try
that
it
we use.
too, we should let them try it, maybe if somebody wants to come up and, does anybody wanna volunteer and come up and try to make some mayo? Alright,
You
come on
put the-
Kelly, come on up, cause we got 2 jars here, so.
put
Yeah.
the egg in first.
Show you how
It's
to-
important. You make sure the egg's in the bottom.
Let's
And
let her
then-
come up and do her egg then real quick.
Okay. She's gonna come up and do it too.
No.
Actually, if you can, just real quick, you just wash your hands quick too, 'cause we're gonna be getting these out.
So is she gonna make it?
Yeah,
Oh.
she's gonna put an
Let
egg
this
in,
one.
just 1 second, she's gonna quick wash her hands, you can go ahead though. So that's 1 egg and 1 cup, you said avocado
Yeah, 1
oil?
cup of oil, of a neutral oil.
And your oils that you wanna use is either olive oil or avocado oils, those are the best oils I would recommend when you do make things.
Some people like the olive oil ones, some people don't, because it's not neutral, so you're gonna taste that.
Yeah.
Make I put in,
Are we putting all the ingredients in?
yes, we put in 2 tablespoons of that. And then a tablespoon.
What is that you're?
Dijon mustard.
Yeah.
Or see, Dijon mustard, 2 tablespoons.
And
Alright, you
then,
cut
so with
that
this, what I will say is a lot of times I'll start with like the simple ingredients. So I know I'm not putting
Put 1
extra
egg in.
things in there. That's what I usually do.
Are these the good eggs?
And how long does this
Yes.
last in the fridge? Do you know?
Well, I make it weekly because I have a big family, but
Okay. So
that's what I do. And then 1 cup
Okay.
of oil.
I'm just gonna squirt the.
Yeah. There's a seed in that somewhere.
Oh, we can keep the seed. Keep the seed.
How long does the homemade version last?
I usually only keep it in my fridge for about a week. I believe it's 7 to 10 days. Could be wrong on that, but I have a bigger family somewhat, so it just lasts us a week, so.
You'll notice the natural Whole Foods and stuff, they go bad faster. If your bread lasts a month, you know it's
There's a
pretty
problem.
ultra processed. Cause bread should really only last, you know, a couple days, a few days, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
Keeping the seeds.
So how many tablespoons was that for lemon juice?
1.
Okay,
now
so
I
we
had done
got,
the egg and the oil.
so now you're doing 2
2 tablespoons of
tablespoons
Dijon.
of the Dijon mustard.
Might wanna close it and tap it on the table so that way it comes out.
And this is really simple, guys. Anybody can do this instead of going to the store.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably have all these ingredients right in your fridge anyways. We're covered.
This is also less expensive to do it this way than buying the pre-made healthier
Yeah.
versions.
Okay, now she's doing 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. I would use fresh lemons. If you see any seeds, pick them out, obviously.
I think it came out of this one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Whoops. Maybe just one of these.
And then,
Get yourself a nice nifty mixer.
So when you do this, you wanna make sure you have the, immersion blender down to the bottom of the jar.
for at least 20 seconds.
Yep, because in that way you get the egg and the oil mixed really well, cause if you go too fast and you go up, you can, what's it called?
It basically breaks the mayonnaise where it's gonna be super, super runny instead of thick.
And then you have to start over, like literally dump the whole thing and start over.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
20 seconds at the bottom.
And then you very slowly pull it up after the 20 seconds.
That's pretty much a lot for.
Okay, now I'm nervous.
There you go.
Just keep it down at the bottom,
For 20 seconds.
20
just after
seconds.
20.
Where's the thing?
But don't start it till it gets to
You
the
All the
gotta-
way to the
Oh,
bottom, push
okay,
it all the
all
way.
yeah,
the way
all
to
the way
the
down to the
bottom.
bottom, yep.
Do you
And
guys
then
need
push.
some spoons?
Yeah, maybe they can get some
Yep, it's doing it, yep.
Yep, it's working. You just real slowly lift it
Slowly lift it up.
after the 20 seconds.
Yep. You put it right back up. Yep, because you want to mix the oil. You see the oil kind of sitting there? Okay, bring it up a bit more. There you go.
just doing something simple as
I'm gonna-
making your own condiments, you would be surprised
mix
at
it
how
just a
much
bit more,
that
'cause it's-
actually helps with, having less preservatives in your diet.
Well, even ketchup like we buy at the store, isn't that full of sugar?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
To do your own ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
there's
use honey.
easy recipe. Yeah.
I've heard of them, but I've not ever done it.
Yep, we'll be doing, more home cooking recipes and stuff here too for our class, so. We're
Anybody
gonna
wants
try
to
to
try
do
something, you
something
guys
each
can.
week, something fun, so.
No, you're like, I don't wanna try, man. Except, I prefer.
That was really easy,
this
guys. Anybody
over-
can do that.
Robert's gonna cause a.
It's like, I'm gonna try it. You just wanna try
We're gonna
a little
do
bit.
it.
It's not gonna be
Nothing
the
like a
store bought,
power
so you
Little
know,
bit.
just a little bit. It's,
I was like, I'm gonna try it.
Where's the sandwich?
well, we did not provide the sandwich, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good stuff, guys, good job.
Wait. Yeah.
Tastes
Oh my,
wonderful.
The color's different.
Tastes like real mayonnaise.
Is
tastes a
anybody
little
else
bit like
gonna
the
try
Aldi's
it? Come on
brand.
up if you guys wanna try
It
it.
tastes like the Aldi's brand.
Well, all these brands probably got less.
It's healthier,
ingredient,
yeah.
Right, exactly.
Do you guys use any kind of, the shopping apps that help you find the healthier foods?
I know there are apps out there that can, tell you, like, I don't know specifically what they are, but they can tell you which ones are good and which one's not good for you, meaning as in the ingredients that they put in, and I believe, it'll tell you some of the stuff that's not even labeled in the labels.
Right.
But I don't know all that there is, I'm just
We can
learning.
maybe touch into that for next week, cause we are gonna be talking about places that we are gonna have you go to for shopping, because the places that we go to, we'll give that away next week, but, yeah, we do have a lot of information on where to go.
You said it was 1 cup of oil.
1 cup of, they used avocado oil, but you can use olive oil, they're saying, so whatever
Yeah.
your
I
preference
like olive
is.
oil, but I like strong flavored stuff, so
I like
that's-
olive
that's me.
oils personally too, so.
Yeah.
1 egg.
Yeah.
It's 1 egg, 1 cup of oil,
2
2 tablespoons of Dijon, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice.
And I will say, if you are using avocado oil, or olive oil, my bad, there are different, you wanna find an I keep saying avocado oil, olive oil that is locally sourced, or just has one source to it, and make sure you check the ingredient list on your oil, because sometimes you're getting more ingredients even on something like that.
And
So,
all olive and all, avocado oil are not made
They-
alike.
yeah, they're not made the same. Of course, your cheaper is gonna be the more, not as good, but you will pay a lot for the good olive oil. But it's worth it. I guess,
You said 7 to 10 days in the French.
yeah. I would say that would be good. Does anybody else have any more questions for us about anything we talked about today, or anything coming up?
Oh, I do have a question.
Okay.
So I remember at the very first class, you guys were talking about, we're going to be getting into gardening and that sort of thing, and canning and all of that. So, do you think you'll tie this into that?
Yep, this all is gonna play into the gardening and everything else that we're doing
What
here
I
at the
thought.
church, and yeah, we're gonna have a fun time, because we're gonna get in, it's a big thing. She's doing the gardening this year, but I'm joining that, I know that, and we'll play it all in together. So, yeah, so we hope to see you in the gardening too. And we're gonna have our first meeting for gardening in,
2 weeks.
in 2 weeks, so make sure you're here. We'll let you know, are you guys online, all of you, or no? On Facebook, on the Bethany website, or no?
I don't want Facebook a ton, but
Okay. Well, we'll let you know here at church. We'll make an announcement, maybe at our next meeting here, we'll find a date and then let you guys know. But also, we can get phone numbers, and too, we can maybe reach out to everybody that wants to join.
so then the question I had, I think I sent one of you guys a text that was probably confusing, but your gardening class, or what's to be expected? What are you gonna do in there? What are you gonna cover? Like, you're gonna actually have a plot, a garden
We
plot
do
out there?
have
We
one.
have
Yeah,
one
one
out
over there.
So we
Yeah.
have a
Oh.
huge
Yeah.
garden already.
Like
This
in
is,
Baker.
this was
Yeah.
from last
That's
year
about
too.
3/4 of
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been an
This will be
ongoing
year,
class.
year 3 for the garden.
And it's,
So.
it's fun.
We have
There's
berry
planting.
bushes out there.
Yeah.
Apple
Different
trees,
vegetables.
peach trees.
Yeah.
The trees still need more time to mature,
Mhm.
but
We have trellises for the cucumbers,
So we'll each take on also,
Fruits, different
like,
types of
we'll
fruits.
pick a plant that we're gonna take on. So this year I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take on peppers. And so I'm probably gonna try to get 20 pepper plants for the church. And then we'll give you a job, you know, and then you'll start them up from seeds and stuff. We'll even have a seed swap and stuff like that. It's gonna be fun. And we'll plant things and,
yeah, we. Yes.
I have seeds at home that are from my garden, if you want acorn seeds.
yeah,
I
we'll
have
do.
seeds and.
Yeah, usually like the first meeting, we just kinda, we bring our seeds and we all kinda swap and see like, oh, I have multiple of this one, do you need?
There's a place in northeast Iowa called the Seed Exchange. You can go up there and, they have all kinds of seeds.
That's cool, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so usually at the first meeting, we kinda decide exactly who is gonna start which seeds. And then also, Kelly, she already, started onions and she put a YouTube video on how to do that on the Bethany, YouTube channel. So I
Bethany
wanna
Full
do that
Gospel.
as well, yeah, Bethany Full Gospel.
Just to be clarified, cause there are different Bethanies
True.
on YouTube, so.
So I
Is
think,
your garden tilled?
We've, yeah,
Mhm.
we've
And
done it
then,
the last year and the year before, yeah.
and then do you guys add any, like
compost and stuff.
compost and or manure or?
Yep, they'll be all
Okay.
teaching how to do that and everything, so.
I think that's,
Do you have any other questions?
If you need sources for any of that stuff, let me know. I can get turkey, I think I can get turkey poop and,
I
some
think-
other things.
I think we have some sources for that, but if I need to, I will get with you on that.
Thank you.
Alright, I guess that'll conclude, so I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you.